I wanted to ask something in terms of like your artwork. So, it's like you touched a bit on this when I asked you the whole like film question. And I've seen it too, like how, you're really into like the BDSM and then like this other term I forgot what it was called. Oh, bondage, right? Yeah. And like, you get two different you get two different reactions from that. You either get people that um like, feel uncomfortable and you get an audience that are like, oh my gosh, I am here for this, right? So I don't even know why I'm saying this because I feel like it has almost nothing to do with like the question I'm about to ask. But I guess in your artwork, what makes, I guess, because it's like I want to like mix in so many things into one, but I can't do that. I gotta ask one thing at a time. Um, and like I had them in my head too, and I was like, okay, I want to ask Melanie this and this and this, and then now it's just like scatterbrain right now. What's important about, I guess, sexual liberation, or like what is important about, being like sexually expressive? Like what about that is like very important to you? Because I feel like that is it's very explicit in your art. And I really like that because I feel like people are so scared, or like there are artists that are, I guess, still people. There are people who, I guess, don't feel sexually, like they don't feel okay. They don't feel okay to express themselves sexually, or like they're are sort of afraid to kind of like reveal their sexuality. And I feel like in your art it's very important to you. So I guess what makes it really important, I guess it's real. This is such a messy question, but yeah.
I think the way you said it's perfect. So it's in the way. Okay, now my turn to have scrambled brains. So the importance of it to me and why I have recently been making art about it is because it is something that is actually happening in my own life, my own personal life, becoming a young adult, and feeling comfortable enough to express these things. I have been of knowledge of this community since I was about like 13, 14. Obviously, those are very young ages. So it's just kind of been something that has been helping me and my thoughts and the way that I feel about things. Um, so it's been a journey. And again, I have now been feeling more comfortable expressing it into my art because I think I was a little nervous too, but I knew I wanted to make art and to show people it. So I feel like that kind of took over the worry and the scared Melanie. And I also, I feel like it's like that. And I also think that there's an importance of, of privacy too, even though I am exploring these things and I'm sharing a lot of things. Um, but I also know that I'm not bluntly kind of saying, um, that this is something that goes, that happens in my own life. You know what I'm saying? I feel like me just kind of being a little fluid or being a little suggestive is doing it justice for me as of right now. Like there is, I feel like I want to make artwork that expresses those things so other people can relate to them, other people can experience them, and there, like you said and how I said before, there is the reflection from it from other people who aren't necessarily for it, who are a little bit confused by it. And I believe that just comes from knowing me or, seeing me. I'm not a very outward person at first. I feel like I have a lot of surprises sometimes, which I like. And I enjoy that because that means that people are getting to know me, and I'm opening up to, younger. I was a really shy person, so with the artwork being made, it is allowing me to be more myself, a little bit more confident. And again, just kind of expressing these thoughts, these feelings, these pleasures, because with art making, it's expressing those things, but it could be in a subtle way, it could be in an aesthetic way. I see a lot of aesthetic in the bondage BDSM, kind of sexy stuff. I hate to say it, when we had our guest speaker for our singularity multiple class, she brought up the point that sex sells, and it does, but I that made me want it to mean more than that, because it does mean more to me than that. It's not just sex. There's actions that mean affection, that are displaying that are creating displaying slash creating the other person to feel certain things that they can't inflict upon themselves and stuff like that, which I think is really exciting, and I think it's very interesting to see in a modest but also suggestive way. So some of the art that I am trying to produce and have produced has sort of been the insight of my mind in what I see and what I would like to see, not necessarily want it to be done on me. Would love it, but I want to kind of have the separation, but also let it be able to mix and stuff like that. I have like this little dream of creating this exhibition or this show or something like that, that is all about that part of, or all about that artwork that I do, because I enjoy realism and realistic like drawing methods and stuff like that. So creating these somewhat realistic things elevates the idea that it is a real thing. I did look off of a photo that I created or I had found or something, which I think drawing it makes it more interesting, because a lot of effort goes into drawing something, and trying to create somewhat of the exactness. So I feel like part of the process, that's where it kind of dives into it not being, it's personal, but I can also like feel that it's open enough for other people to relate to. Not It's not just like a thing that I only want to see and feel and stuff like that. I hope that answers all the questions.
Yeah, like all those like
Yeah,
spaghetti questions.
yeah, and if you have more, I don't mind answering more. Or if you would like for me to like explain upon anything too, I don't mind doing that as well.
Just to add to, like what you have to say, um, like whatever you make, it can be as deep as you want it to be. It doesn't have to be that deep.
Of course,
Like
yeah.
as long as like it means something to you, as long as you're expressing yourself. And so whenever I look at your art, I think you had mentioned this too, but I see this sort of like empowerment for like other people who are who like are probably like sexually active, and who I guess like
Mm-hmm.
um getting go into these like practices and stuff like you portray. And then there's probably people that like like who feel empowered to want to like do that. You get me? It's like
Of course, yeah.
your art is very it speaks to a community, whether they're like explicit about it or whether they're like you said, they're like they're just getting comfortable with it, or they want to be comfortable with it because they see your work. And that's why I love it so much. Like
Thank you
it,
so
like
much.
again, it's like
Yeah.
super empowering. um
Yeah. I
yeah.
and I really appreciate that. I'm sorry if I had cut you off. I'll just say this real quick. I never, at first it was just exploration to see, for myself, but when it became into projects and I put more meaning into it because I want there to be more meaning, it definitely became a thing to help me feel more confident and to empower a person looking at it, or someone who knows about it or something like that. I really appreciate that, and I love that outlook. That's very nice for me to hear, so thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so like I also had wanted to say I love how your art is growing as well as you're growing, like being very like
Yes,
from being very like, like, is it okay to talk about this? Is it okay to present something like this to like, this is like, I
exactly.
guess like my brand, like, this is Melanie's brand, and like I don't care how deep it is. I don't care how not deep it is, but it's speaking to me and it's speaking to a certain community. And I love this whole like incorporation of both like the fantasy and the realism, because there's this like fantasy it shows this like this sort of like, I guess, world to someone who like who wants to be a part of it and stuff. So that's what like makes like that's what the fantasy concept, I guess, like
Mm-hmm.
that's where it like leads to, where it comes to. And then there's like the realism like portion whenever you're doing your like ink drawings and stuff. It's like, like people do this, like there are
Yes,
people who
yeah.
are who are sexually proud and are sexually open. So I enjoy, like the realness of it too. So I like those incorporations. I like those two together.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to quickly share because I don't know. I think you were. Oh no, it was just when the virus hit and stuff like that. So I was just up in our little apartment. I had the curating project I had to do, like to curate a show, and it was mostly about this subject of bondage, BDSM, and it was kind of the artwork of it, like the artwork that has been made over the years. And I feel like I got a little bit lost in that project because the professor kept asking, well, why this, what are you trying to show with this? And I think at first I was trying to be like, I think should be something that people should see and shouldn't think as taboo, but that kind of defeats the purpose of it, like I feel like I would love for people to be maybe open to it. It's not necessarily this bad thing that happens or a very wrong thing that happens. So I think that's where I got lost. But I feel like now creating more of the work and looking more, reflecting upon myself and what I want the viewers to see, it definitely does come to be this exploration of people who are in it, who are new to it, who just like the artwork. And I appreciate you also saying that this is my brand, with
Oh my gosh, me
creating the
too.
t-shirt line and this hopefully the store soon. I wanted there to be a theme in someone who could see my work and be like, oh, that's Melanie something, like that's her work, so I appreciate that comment.
Oh my gosh. So like the question I had wanted to ask that I know came up super spaghetti was, I think what I was trying to ask was what is it about being sexually expressive so important to you? And what I had asked before was just a whole mess. But you answered that earlier, so that's all I was trying to say. Just to clarify that.
No, I think you asked it really greatly, and I love that you did fumble because it showed me your thought process, like that you had all these things that you wanted to incorporate, and I really appreciate that. I love these deep questions. I have only recently been able to talk about these certain things, with either my sister or some classmates. I don't get to have these deep conversations about the artwork as much, because it's not like necessarily been displayed and stuff. And those who are also in the community, that other community, um, I sometimes get to express, this stuff because I feel like I'm more knowledgeable than experienced, which I like because your mind is a very powerful weapon, power. So I feel like understanding the way that you're thinking more than you're acting is nice when it comes to terms of that, like of being in a headspace or creating a scene or something like that. Um, so yeah, I feel like I went off to a different thing, but yeah.
No, it's okay. Like, I think you expanded what you had to say, which was good.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And I appreciate your like interest in this because some of the other one time I showed this my work to another classmate who was a male, and he got a very different idea of what things were happening, and it did not turn out to be a very nice conversation.
Oh,
So
that's
things are
not cool.
weird sometimes. Yeah, so um not that like all guys are like that, but coming from another person who appreciates it is really nice, to someone who just sees that and then reflects upon it in a different way. I really appreciate your like expansion into the topic, and like that you like are interested in to hear about it, because I feel like, again, some people just like see the artwork and then only think of one thing, like there is so much more to it, and I don't even know everything about it, but that's, I think, the fun part about anything, is just learning more about it.
I'm looking at your page right now.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, it definitely has flourished into something very cool. Because at
Hmm.
first it was about, I called them these ski mask drawings, because it was these people, like these characters in ski mask, and it was about around this whole idea of like a slash and dash, where it's like just this murderous hungry person, but then it's ventured into this very, I feel like, a very cool place, and I hope I just play the cards right with it, then it hopefully will turn into a cooler thing, because I think, and I feel like you have made it that way too. I feel like it's a very cool thing.
It was super fun getting to hear, I guess, your whole side of like, what this means and stuff, because, you've said, people can interpret art like that in like the worst way, in the wrong way. And so hearing it from you, it's great,
Yeah, no, thank you. And yeah, I'm sorry. Did I not mean to cut you off? But I've had many personal experience of things being interpreted the wrong way with people who are important to me. So, it's been a very sort of private but not private thing that I've been trying to do for myself.
Hmm.
Um, it's a big learning thing too, but um, I love talking about it though too much to like, so that's why I'm just like, I'm gonna embrace it, and I think talking with you and your questions have really let me feel better about that. So, thank you for that. And I guess, real quick too, what were your ideas about the cover art? Because I have no idea. I know they said that they wanted us to create like this album slash podcast thing. I know we can sort of collaborate about it throughout the week and everything like that. But if you had any ideas right away.
I have nothing in mind.
Okay, no, that is totally fine. I think we can do something pretty cool, and everything. Maybe we can do something with the masks.
Yeah, since like
Yura,
we're both like,
how do you pronounce that mask again that you made? I apologize that I'm like asking you all about it the wrong way. That you did for your London's video.
Oh, the luchador mask.
Yes, yeah. I think we could do something with that, and then with one of my little masks that I have. I
Yeah.
think
Oh
maybe
my
we
gosh,
could
that
do
would be
something like
so
that. That could be
cool.
cool.
You can totally do that. Is there, I guess, any medium that you like that either you have tried recently or that you're planning to do for like an upcoming project?
I can't really say at the moment. Well, I've actually been using oil pastels recently, which I haven't used since like I was just starting to draw, and they weren't like the greatest quality. It was like from the crazy art kits, crazy art. But I'm getting, it's not, I can't say I'm like getting into it slowly. I used it for a project to kind of challenge myself. And I liked the blending quality. I like the texture of oil pastels. I think that's really fun. Will I say I'll use them in the future? I mean, I hope I do, because I feel like challenging myself into mediums that I'm not used to is great. But yeah, I think that's kind of like the only medium that that's been new recently and that I've been trying to work with.
Hmm.
Um,
That's cool. I'm like really excited to see anything that
yeah,
comes out of
I can
it.
actually show you right
You're using
now. Where
oils.
are we? Oh, I probably should present, right? The project that I
Hmm.
had to do with the oil pastels. It was for my drawing class. Um, it was, I am blanking. It was the observational metaphor. So it was, at first I was going to do those seashells that I posted on my Instagram, but then he had said it had to be something mechanical,
Hmm.
not metal, but like he was he was a bit unclear, to be honest with you. He kept changing what things had to be. So was it project 3? Yeah, here. So it had to be huge too. It was like it's 18, or I think it's 24 by 18. Um yeah,
Oh
so
wow.
it was really fun to kind of try to blend some of these
Hmm.
colors together, create tones too. I really like my most favorite part of this. Will it zoom if I do that? Yes. Is the blades of the sharpener. I like their little blending
Yeah.
thing that happened there. I think that's
Hmm.
really cool. Like,
Yeah.
for oil pastels,
Hmm.
because I kind of was trying to do I kept using white to blend everything, and it was kind of like, not, I'm going to say ruining, but that's not the right word. It was kind of just like ruining the colors that I was laying down, because it was just making them, like not the shade that they are, and they were some pretty vibrant colors. But on the other hand, I also liked blending with the white. It's something that I'm kind of used to with other materials. So that was the whole learning experience with that. But yeah, it was interesting to use pastels, cuz I at first like originally sketched something in pencil, and then Brad was like, "No, no, no, you do a light sketch with the pastels." And I was like, "Makes sense, makes sense." Um but yeah, what about you? Have you used oil pastels?
I have when I was like in middle school. I had to use them for in our class, and we had to like recreate
Mhm.
some type of like image, and oh my gosh, I wish I still had it with me because like that looked so good. but
Yes.
like
No, I bet it's awesome.
but like after that, like I used, I think, yeah, I had to use them again. I think in my junior year of high school. Not a good, not a good artwork, not a good art piece.
Oh.
I don't even have it anymore. Like I don't even know where it's at. Yeah, but I'd like to pick that up again. I think that would be super dope.
Yeah, no, that's great. So to relay the question back onto you, well, yeah, like a new medium or a medium that you asked me was like in the future or that you currently worked on that was different.
So I think with my video work, I kind of want to incorporate um maybe some what's that thing called, like spoken word.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also wanted to include like music for my friend. He's a musician.
Yes, I love that.
So like yeah, so he's doing that's what he's going to school for. And I've heard him play like a couple of times, but like I'd like to like see like a show. Like he's always like inviting me, but then like um but I'm either always busy or like he had like a lot of shows during like the time like we were like in school during the fall, and I'm like, oh, I'm all the way up here. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think asking him maybe, like, can you like write something for me for this piece I'm doing? I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah,
Like a sort of like a collab.
that would be awesome. In our uh for singularity multiplicity, do you have Matt?
I have Jason.
Yeah, yeah. So what you just said, like, so obviously you were there. I think that is really cool. And my brother is a musician too. But I've never asked him to collaborate or make anything for me. Um,
Right.
Only because I kind of like I'm gonna say this and it's gonna be like super silly and like cliche. I like kind of weird music for like my art stuff. It's got to be like really very theater or something. But I think that is awesome to include
Hmm.
that aspect to your work and their work, because then it's like you said, it's a collaboration and it becomes something really cool. I can definitely see that happening like super soon for you too.
Yeah. I'm like just so excited for like what's to come.
Yeah, no, me too. Even though this year has been a bit challenging, not knowing, again, like with that whole t-shirt thing that I'm trying to do, and then even just like school projects, I feel like that's just keeping me, and if you agree, just kind of like afloat and not super sad about everything
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Because I kind of tend to rely on my schoolwork to just like keep me level headed and stuff like that. So,
I think that's really interesting because I think a lot of people they they want to take a step back from like their work or their schoolwork to like,
yeah.
sort of keep their head up or something like that, or like to feel optimistic because I like that it's almost sort of like a I feel like for like someone else like schoolwork or just like work is like a time consuming thing or it's something that they probably don't enjoy as much. But I think that's why um I think it's why it's like really important to I guess um so it sounds corny, right? But
No,
just, do what you like to do, because like
exactly.
why would you
Yeah.
want to do something that you don't like? Yeah. I blame it on capitalism, but
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I definitely sometimes really embrace the nerdiness in me, and stuff like that. But I guess from not like a super young age, but like just like, kind of like like middle school years, it just kind of has always like school has always been there, it's always things to do. So obviously art is there. I like through art I can, create and release everything that's like been going on and stuff. But for some reason, like even like I guess like now in art school, it's not such a burden, kind of besides my science class. Science class is making me feel like I'm back in high school. Honestly, as much as sweet as Emily is, and if she ever hears this, I'm sorry. But I'm just not down, honestly, for it sometimes. No, so yes, I feel like even now with art school, I have all these projects, and I feel like that's really good. Like, it's stressing me out, honestly, right now. But, because sometimes I feel like it drains like my personal drive for my own artwork, but I also like the work, I guess, because it doesn't feel like work. I'm creating art for art school. I think so. I think it's a bit of a better outlook than it was in high school, because in high school I was just like gotta get good grades so I could get to school. Now that I'm here, still gotta get good, still have to get good grades and everything. But anyway, let's see what else we got. So I guess because as we are doing the demo reels and we already have sort of talked about it, but how do you feel the demo reel has been going for you as far as collecting B-roll? I know our next little milestone thing is having audio, and because I noticed some things that the other, do I call them students, classmates? I never know sometimes. We're having, they don't know, I guess they were kind of unsure on what to record and how to present it. So I was wondering if those were anything that you were thinking about as you have been creating the demo reel.
So I feel like I've had some like good ideas on like how I want to like set this whole like reel up and stuff, but I think it's just there's this motivation to like sometimes I need to like actually, like do that. In terms of like collecting my b-roll, like I'm still collecting my b-roll. I feel like what I presented to my class, like it was decent, but like it's like it's not enough. And so
Mm-hmm.
I always gotta make sure that like whenever I'm like doing something, I'm at least like documenting it because I feel like even if we're just doing it for this class, it's good practice. I think like what Monica and Aaron has told us too, that it's just good practice for us to kind of like see our progression of like, what we did, like for
Exactly,
example,
yeah.
like this fall to like what we do in like the next 5 years or something. Yeah, I don't even know if that answered your question.
No, that did for sure.